Hello everyone, I am Monica Bhushan and today we are starting lecture number 13 of differential equation. So till lecture number 12 we have actually covered what is called as differential equation and how to solve differential equations with many different methods, right? In today's class we are going to understand the application of differential equation. So today we will be seeing that how differential equations can be applied to find the oscillations of a spring. Okay, so let's start with the question. So in this question, we are actually seeing that they are asking to solve the problem of undamped forced vibrations. We'll see that what does it mean of a spring governed by the differential equation m d2y by dt square plus ky equals ft. In the case where the forcing function is ft is a sine omega t, take y naught is y0 and y dash 0 is y1. Okay, so we have the problem of undamped forced vibrations. So first we will see that what is called as undamped vibration or damped vibration. So vibration you can consider as the oscillation of the spring. So in case of damped vibration, the vibration actually decreases in its amplitude over the time. That means it just reduces its energy over time. Okay, so this is, you can treat as damped vibration because of the force applied to the spring. So if we will see what is undamped vibration, so in undamped vibration the amplitude of the vibration sustain over the time, it doesn't reduce. So there is no loss of energy in case of undamped forced vibration. So we are seeing this case only. So they say that the problem is given of undamped forced vibration of a spring where the equation given to us is present here, and that is only our interest, right? So the differential equation is m d2y by dt square plus ky equals ft. So in case of spring, this m is the mass of the spring and this k is called as spring constant. Okay, and you can see that two variables are given. One is y and the second is t. So t is independent variable, y is dependent variable over time t, correct? And y is dependent variable, right? So these all things we have covered in our previous classes. So here we see that some more conditions are given. They have said as this particular function which is present in right hand side, which we used to call as phi x or phi t in this case. So this is our a sine omega t and y naught is y0. That means at t equals 0, they have said that y at t equals 0 is nothing but y0, correct? Okay, similarly this is y dash 0 is what? D by dt of y at t equals 0 is given as y1. Okay, so now we will be seeing how to solve this differential equation. So now we will be starting with this differential equation, right? So here this differential equation is given to us, correct? And now what we are seeing that this m what was present here, this m we have divided the complete differential equation by m because we just want to keep it as the simple form or standard form, you can say, right? So we have written down d2y by dt square plus k by m y equals a by m sine omega t. And now what we are doing here, we are just writing down k by m as lambda square. Okay, and now a by m we are writing as mu. A, m, a, these are constant, right? So these constant we are just writing down, instead of writing every time k by m or a by m, we are replacing it with lambda square and mu respectively. So here writing down lambda square is for simplicity of the question, right? So here we will be seeing that if we are writing lambda square, it will be more easier for the calculation. Now, what we are saying here, we are rewriting this differential equation in this form. So d2y by dt square is nothing but d operator, correct? So here we are writing down, since this is d2y by dt square, so you can see here this is nothing but d square, capital D, where my capital D is nothing but d by dt. Okay, and this is your d2y. Okay, so you can write d2y plus we have assumed k by m constant as lambda square. Okay, and then y equals, and then again we have assumed a by m is nothing but mu, and this is nothing but sine omega t, or we can rewrite it as d square plus lambda square y equals mu sine omega t. Okay, now you just focus on this equation. So this equation is nothing but our ordinary differential equation with constant coefficient, correct? So this type of equation if we have got, so we can easily solve this differential equation using CF plus PI method, and then we can get the answer of whatever they have asked to apply this differential equation to get the answer of undamped forced vibration of a spring. We can easily get, correct? So we are first finding out the complementary function of this given equation, right? So for this complementary function, what we have to write down? So this is same as we have to write down the auxiliary equation. In auxiliary equation, what we are going to do? We are going to replace d with m. So this will be m square plus lambda square, and then the variable will not be present, making right hand side function as 0 to make it homogeneous function. So this is nothing but my auxiliary equation, correct? You can see here also. Fine. Now what I am going to do, this auxiliary equation says that the power of m is 2. That means the characteristic equation or auxiliary equation will get two roots, correct? There will be two values of m. So the value of m we got as imaginary pair, that is plus minus I lambda. Okay, now if my roots are imaginary pair, so we have seen that yc will be in terms of cos and sine, correct? So it will be c1 cos lambda t plus c2 sine lambda t. So this lambda has come from here. Okay, now we got what is my yc. So we have introduced two constants also, right? C1 and C2. So in this case, we will be finding out what is C1, what is C2, maybe in terms of K, M, A, whatever, depends on how we are going to find out the value. Okay, so first step to find CF is done. Now the second step is to find what is my PI. So if you remember that we have seen how to find PI. To find PI, we have to see now what is the right hand side of the equation. So right hand side is nothing but mu sine omega t, and then divided by this differential operator, and then divided by this differential operator term. So it will be d square plus lambda square, correct? This will be nothing but your PI. Okay, so if my PI is this one, now my job is to again start with checking the types of solving PI, and always I say to start checking with type 1, because we have covered type 1, 2, 3 and then 4 till type 5 we have seen everything. So always start that whether this YP can be solved using type 1. If you remember that type 1 is what form? This is if the numerator contains exponential function. So but here we don't see any exponential function, so this is not my type 1. So is it my type 2? So if you remember that type 2 has the trigonometrical function, and yes, we have the sinusoidal function. So we can say that this is my type 2, and then we can solve this YP using type 2 method. So this type 2 method says that if the trigonometrical function is on the numerator, so in denominator we are going to replace d square with minus a square. And what is my a? This sine is nothing but sine 80, correct? Sine 80. So a in this case is omega, so we are going to replace d square with negative of omega square. Okay, so what we are going to write here, this yp is nothing but mu sine omega t divided by minus omega square plus lambda square. And in this case we will assume that lambda is not equal to omega, right? And why we are assuming? Because if lambda will be omega, then what will happen? It will be divided by 0. So in this case we are saying that lambda is not equal to omega. So we got what is our yp. If you can see, right, we also have got the same thing. Fine. So my final answer will be yc plus yp. So yc is present here and yp is present here. But in yc we have two constant c1, c2, which we should find the value. And for that, if you remember that they have given us conditions also, right? They had given that my y at time equals 0 is nothing but y naught, and then y dash at time equals 0 was y1. So these values we will be putting here by putting t equals 0. So we'll see that how to solve it. Okay, so my why we have written down yt in this fashion, like how we say that y at time equals t, or you can write yt. So different books actually say that something different. So this is yt, that means y at time t is, this is your yc and this is your yp. Okay, this we have said that this is our equation number 1. Now equation number 2, we are going to find what is my y dash t, and why we are doing so, to utilize the value of y0, y at time equals 0 is y0 and y dash at time equals 0 is y1. So we are finding out what is y dash t. So y dash t is what? D by dt of y at time equals 0. Okay, so d by dt of y will be what? So this is my first term. So this is nothing but, this is your cos, so it will give you negative of sine lambda t. So lambda constant will come here, c1 is present here. Fine. Now for second term, it will be sine will give you cos lambda t, and then lambda, and then c2 is already present. So this is your second term. Now what about your third term? So in this third term, what we are saying, that the denominator part is as it is, correct? Lambda square minus omega square, and then sine will give you cos omega t and then omega mu. So this is your y dash t you got. Fine. Now we are just writing down this condition what is given in the data, and then respectively it will give you what at time equals 0. So y0 will give you what? Cos 0. So cos 0 degree will give you 1. So this will be your c1. So this complete thing will become 1 at t equals 0. This is your c1, plus sine 0 will give you what? Sine 0 degree will give you 0. So it complete term will go 0. Even similarly, sine 0 degree will be 0. So this is just c1. So y0 is c1. So you can say that c1 you have got as y0. So in the second equation, we will write down t equals 0. So y dash 0 is nothing but y1. So this y1 is nothing but at t equals 0. So this complete term will become 0. T equals 0, this complete term will become 1. So it will be lambda c2, correct? Here lambda c2, y1 is lambda c2 plus sine omega t, this will be your 1. So it will be mu into omega divided by lambda square minus omega square. So what we have got till now, we got that what is the value of C1 and what is the value of C2. You can adjust using this equation and you got C2 also. And then we are done. We are just going to write the value of C1, C2 in our complete equation. So YT, you can refer this equation here also. YT is your final answer, right? YT is, you have just written down C1 as Y0 and then C2 as whatever we have got here, and then completely this equation we have got, and this we have just rearranged this equation here, and then we got, this is the answer what they were asking for. So similarly, we can find the answer of some other question which they might give you as a simple pendulum or something. My main focus is to concentrate on differential equation what they have given in the statement question. So suppose this question is the differential equation of a simple pendulum is d2x by dt square plus omega square x equals capital F sine nt. Okay, where omega and f are constants. If at t equals 0, x equals 0 and dx by dt is 0. Determine the motion when n equals omega. So exactly similar way we can solve this question also. My focus is to copy this differential equation and start solving it. And we say that this capital F and this omega, they are constant. They have given us. So the variables are x and t. So t is independent variable and x is dependent variable, and the initial condition also given to us. So at t equals 0, x equals 0 and dx by dt is 0. So these equations actually they give to find that c1, c2 constants. Okay, because this will be your second order differential equation, so two constant will be there. We'll see this. Our method will always start with the differential equation whatever they have given, and then we will write down it in the exactly same standard form which we have covered in the initial classes of differential equation, and then we'll start solving using CF plus PI method. And the reason of always solving with CF plus PI method, because the differential equation will be in the nature of ordinary differential equation with constant coefficient. And finally, we will be writing down exact values of C1, C2 and yc plus yp will be your final answer. So similarly, right, you started with this equation, whatever differential equation they have given, and then my first step is to write down the auxiliary equation. So we have written down auxiliary equation with replacement of d with m, and there will be no constant, so there will be no variable present here. We got the value of m as the imaginary pair. The reason two roots are getting, because the power of m is 2, correct? And whenever we see that the roots are imaginary pair, so we get the yc, or here in this case here this is xc. So we get this xc, that means complementary function, as in terms of sine and cos, correct? So c1 and c2 we have introduced two constant which we have to find the answer for. xp is what? Right hand side, whatever is present, this function we will copy down, and then the denominator will be in the form of differential operator. So we have written down, this is our xp. Finally, these two, this term plus this term will be your answer, right? They are asking that determine the motion when n equals omega. So we have to write down here n as omega. Where is n? Sine nt. So we are going to write n as omega, right? So here we are writing down f sine omega t by d square plus omega square. Now, this is my pi, correct? So to start solving pi, what my focus is, so I'm just writing down here, this is your pi. Pi is f sine omega t divided by d square plus omega square. So always you have to start with checking whether you can solve this question using type 1 of pi method. So in type 1, exponential term is not present. So yes, this is my type 2. So type 2 says that trigonometrical function, yes, it is present. So here we are replacing d square with minus of omega square, correct? So we are going to write down f sine omega t by d square, we are going to replace with minus of omega square, because this omega is present here. So then it will give me 0, right? So for that, what I have to do? So in case of denominator, if it is giving me 0, so we have to go one step previous. We have to find the derivative of the denominator. So if I am finding the derivative of denominator, it will give me 2d plus 0, because constant derivative will give me 0. And then we have to write down the numerator as it is. And if I am finding out derivative in the denominator, I have to multiply the variable in the numerator. So these things in type 2 we have covered, correct? Now, again, what we have to see, that here we see that one term is present still. This d is present here. When we say that my job is done to find pi, when we don't see any d operator either in the numerator or denominator. So but here we see that the denominator contains d. So we know that d is d by dt. Similarly, we know that 1 by d, okay, 1 by d is what? Integration with respect to t. So this is your 1 by d, that means you can say this is what? This is your t by 2. Even f is also constant, I am taking outside. So this you can write 1 by d into sine omega t. I think there is no doubt here. So we can say that tf by 2, this 1 by d is nothing but integration with respect to t in this case. So this is nothing but sine omega t. Integration of sine omega t will give you negative of cos omega t. We have seen here also. Fine. So we got our CF and PI both methods. So finally what x is there, that will be our answer. And now we have to find what is the value of C1 and C2. For that case, we are going to write down this complete xt is what? This is your CF and this is your PI. Fine. Now what we are going to do? We are going to differentiate this function and then finding out the answer for that. Why we are differentiating? Because they have given in the data that x at 0 is 0 and x dash of 0 is 0. So for that we have to find x dash t, and then we'll be putting t as 0. So we are differentiating it right. So after differentiation, this is first term differentiation, second term differentiation, and then third term differentiation. And then we are just substituting the value of, so we are just substituting t as 0 in xt. So we are getting c1 is 0. Similarly, in the second equation, that is x dash t at t equals 0 is nothing but 0. So left hand side is 0, and then right hand side putting t equals 0, giving me something here. So we got what is C1 and what is C2. And finally, at n equals w, we have found that motion, whatever they had asked in the question, is nothing but Cf plus Pi we have added, and this is our final answer. So if you find this class useful, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.